This is the Off-Grid Knives Alpha Dog. I've shown a couple of off-grid knives here on the channel, folders. The Scorpion, which is, man, it's a drool-worthy knife, and has been a big-time EDC for me this winter. And also I showed you the Black Stallion, a big, stout, Warncliffe / sheep's footy kind of black work knife that could definitely flex into, well, like every other sharp implement, into a weapon, but it has a weapony look to it. In any case, they also make, Carrie over there at Off-Grid Knives also designs and has made these beautiful fixed blade knives. I say these because my father got me this one that I've shown off a couple of times for Christmas. And I'm gonna do a review of this and a video of this on its own. Beautiful, beautiful knife. I love this design. That blade just knocks me out. I think it's awesome. But that'll be for another time. Right now, this Alpha Dog, man, I gotta show this to you because it is a unique knife. This, to me, is a little big knife. I mean, you look at it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 inches, a 4 3/4 inch blade, and a handle of about the same length. So it's not a small blade. I mean, look at how broad that is. It's 2 inches at the widest point. That's like a Viking sword or something. So I'm not calling this a small knife, but it is a little big knife in that for what you get here, 4 3/4 inch blade, this thing acts like a much bigger knife. I mean, you've got nearly a 1/4 inch thick slab of Bowler K110, which I am told is, well, the European analog to D2, which is a very tough tool steel. And so I guess this is kind of the same thing, European made, the steel. And so it's a big outdoor bruiser. That is what this thing is. I mean, it is heavy. I mean, to feel it in your hands, it's a heavy knife. And it really does feel like this short, expansive blade, 4 3/4 inches, will do some serious chopping if you put a lanyard on and choke back a little bit. The width of this blade, the broadness of the grind, and the weight forward. I mean, this is actually balanced nicely right at the, kind of like a fighting knife right here at the hilt. But, I mean, right here at the, near the guard. But when your hand is back here, of course, it's blade heavy. And with all that broadness and that sort of general downward sloping of the cutting edge, you get a really nice chopping feel out of this little big knife. That's what it is. So what do I see this knife being used for? Well, let's talk about my purposes, okay? I have a pretty decent fixed blade collection. It's not as sprawling as the folders, but so for me, this is a collectible in that I'm excited to have it in my collection. It's someone that I interviewed and that I had a great vibe with on the show. So this is his thing. So it's got sentimental value. It's got collector's value for me. But also as a fire pit guy, and you know me, I'm not going out in the woods and surviving. I'm not going out in the woods even to have fun, even though I'd like to. But I am doing a lot of domestic stuff in the backyard, and I do quite a bit of kindling making with my Trailmaster Bowie to sort of feel like I'm getting something out of my knives. Well, that's what this is destined for. This looks to me like the perfect kindling maker. You've got this broad spine for batoning. Of course, you don't have a huge expanse to baton through, but you have that giant, you have that thick spine for batoning. You've got the, and just general woodwork in general. You have this nice run of jimping here, nice ergonomic handle. This thing would be great for carving, for making feather sticks. Do people do that? I don't know, but this is thinly enough ground. Look at how broad that grind is. Even though it's nearly a 1/4 inch thick, that grind is 1 inch and 3/4 long. By the time you get to the edge here, there's plenty of thinness behind the edge. So you get the best of both worlds here. A robust edge and a robust spine, but thin and slicey enough to do all that kind of carvy kind of activity. Yes, carby. So this Alpha Dog, I think it's beautifully designed, and I think that, man, I think for someone who doesn't have a lot of space, but is doing a lot of outdoor stuff, needs a knife, the way this dangles on the sheath, it's very, very convenient. You know, you got this dangler here. Of course, you can change how you mount it. This is how it came. Actually, it came with this reversed. I just reversed it because the snap and Velcro should always go in towards the body. But in any case, I feel like this would be great for someone who does not have a lot of room on their belt, does not have a lot of room in their pack, but needs a little bit of weight and a little bit of a substantial chunker of a blade. Alpha Beast, this is called, and it's a great name for this because it is beastly. It is beastly, but it's wieldy. You know, it's not too much. Now, these little scoops carved out of the handle, I love. I love it when I see those because to me it just means someone's thinking about other grips other than this and this, you know. They're thinking about this sort of sideways grip. I know a lot of people like to do this, put this against their chest and pull against sticks this way. It just seems like these thumb notches here are a great design feature on any knife that you see them on because, you know, they're just going to add versatility. And on a big chunker of a knife like this, you want that added versatility. You know, this, I keep mentioning its size and sort of inferring its weight, but I wouldn't want this to be any lighter because it's a heavy duty knife. So anyway, lest I ramble, I'll show you some comparisons. They're not all size comparisons, they're more like use comparisons. But I will start with one that's similar in size. This is the Spyderco, oh, what the hell is this called? I remember it's something that sounds a little Filipino. Now I can't remember what it is. A serrata, I think this is called the serrata. Also a very thick blade, look at that. It starts off a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch, but it's got a distal taper the entire length, which is really beautiful and nice, nice in a production blade. So this is kind of a similar knife in that it's a little big knife. It's made for the outdoors, and it can handle a lot, but it comes in a sort of compact package. And since I have my rare birds out, meaning my Spyderco fixed blades, this I got from my brother-in-law, and this next Spyderco fixed blade I also got from my brother-in-law. This is the Temperance? I think it's called the Temperance. What an incredibly comfortable knife this is. But again, a heavy-duty outdoor knife. This one is a little less heavy-duty actually. But same sort of very broad blade with a very high grind. This is also a fully flat ground blade. This is VG10. An interesting choice for a fixed blade, I think, but it's very corrosion resistant, so that might have something to do with it. This one, by the way, is what is it, 440C, but it's cast. So it's presumably, so if it's cast, I think that means it's cast in a die. So it's poured in hot, right? It's poured in hot, like liquid, and then and into a mold and cast, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that this is kind of that same drop forging process that cold steel uses. Now you really don't know what you're talking about, Bob. You're talking about casting and drop forging. You're just all wrong. So I don't know. Do your research, because I certainly haven't. But this is a cast knife, which makes it different. But you feel it. You feel it in both of these. These both have, look at that. These both have that brutish sort of feel to them. I feel like this is a sort of a spiritual companion knife. This is the Artac 2 by Ontario. It's the precursor to the Hungless, I think, or yeah, the Hungless. Ontario knife and tool. So it's kind of a similar vibe, though much bigger. And actually, this is substantially, well, I guess it's almost the same blade stock, but this just feels lighter, less dense. And then I'll also show it with two other favorites Here it is with the tops. Tex Creek, what an awesome outdoors knife. I mean, that one's seen a lot of action from me. Oh, from that time I was dropped off in the jungles of Belize. I made it through with just this knife and a loincloth. You should have seen it. It was amazing. Just kidding, just backyard stuff. But it has received quite a bit of use and action. And no doubt this thing, which I'm hesitant to make look like this because I'd like to keep it kind of pristine, but at the same time, I feel I'm gonna have to go bang on it to I don't know, just to back it up and to have a backup batoning knife. And then one more, and then I promise I let you go. Where is it? Here it is. Condor knife and tool. One of my favorites, Hudson Bay knife. I just love the history. Just recently put a new edge on this because I chipped the hell out of it. But I love the history of it, and I love the sort of generalized shape of it. You look at this knife and you could fight with it, you could hunt with it, you could trap with it, you could do fur with it, you could chop up onions with it. You could do a lot of different stuff with this knife and this design. I feel this is in that same boat. You could do a lot of stuff with this. It is a thick blade, but because it's so broad and nearly fully flat ground, you could use this for all your food chores around the camp, and then go, cut a whole bunch of bamboo down or whatever you're going to use this for, baton some wood. So there you have it. I just wanted to make you aware of the Off-Grids knife Alpha Beast, which is just, well, it lives up to its name, and it's a fun, great fixed blade to have. And for me personally, with a fixed blade collection that looks more like a knife fighter's collection, I'm really happy to have something that is more utility oriented but still has that badass look. And I think Carrie over at Off-Grid Knives is really good at doing that in designing his knives. Making them very, very practical and very, very good tools, but also at the same time giving them some panache and some class. Know what I mean? Just some class. I just think this is a cool knife. Anyway, there you have it. I've spoken too long. Go get yourself one.